Okay, for Buddhism, there are 7 artworks, but this video is going to focus on these 2 Buddhist architectural complexes. So I would create a T-chart in order to compare and contrast these 2. So on the left, we have the Great Stupa at Sanchi in India. And this one actually predates Buddhism. This one's older. It's 300 BCE to 100 CE, stone masonry, and then sandstone on the dome. And then, so Buddhism originated in India, which is why this is going to be older, and then it's going to travel throughout Asia. And then here we are seeing a Buddhist complex at the Borobudur temple in Indonesia. All right, so what we need to be able to talk about is how do these both function to facilitate Buddhist practices? How are people coming to these sites and worshiping in a Buddhist manner as compared to other types of worship in other places? Here's our 7 Buddhist artworks from the unit. And they come from all over Asia, South, East. All right, so Afghanistan, India, Indonesia, Tibet, China, and Japan. Some ideas, again, about Buddhism. Hinduism came first, and then Buddhism began in India, and then was spread by missionaries traveling along trade routes. All right, so we're going to start with our Great Stupa at Sanchi, and the College Board gives us these 4 images we need to be able to recognize. So the word stupa actually translates to a top knot. So when you think about a top knot, you have Buddha sculptures who all have that bun on top. That's called a top knot. And then we have our Easter Island Moai sculptures in our Pacific unit. And then later these top knots, or these hats, were added on, but those are also called top knots. So a top knot is a mound-shaped structure that contains Buddhist relics. So we know that word relic, that's like the bone or maybe something that a religious figure was wearing that is now turned into an artwork. So when Buddha died, he was cremated, and then his ashes were given to different kings. And then those ashes were buried and then turned into a burial mound. So that is how these stupas were created, or first originated. So an example of visual evidence, what you could talk about if you're talking about visual evidence, the stupas have a hemispherical shape. That means half of a circle, hemispherical shape. It kind of reflects the shape of a person in meditation. This is from the Nelson Museum. And it also reflects a sacred mountain, which we can relate back to Hindu temples, right? Reflecting sacred mountains. All right, more about specific visual evidence. It has a spire at the top, and the spire at the top symbolizes this axis mundi, the center of the universe. We've talked about what an axis mundi is before with previous artworks, with the Lanzon representing an axis mundi and the Templo Mayor representing an axis mundi, center of the universe. The plan, this ground plan or floor plan, is a carefully calculated mandala, which is a diagram of the cosmos. So again, that's something we can relate back to Hindu temples. Here's an example of a mandala. And we're going to compare this to Borobudur, is also a mandala, if you look at it from an aerial perspective. All right, there's 4 stone gateways that separates, so here's the gateways, separates the sacred, so if you're inside, you're in the sacred ground, from the non-sacred. Outside of the gateway is non-sacred. And it's creating a path for circumambulation. You got to keep them circumambulating. All right, we've talked about circumambulation. You circumambulate around the Bayamin Buddha's feet on the bottom, around the Kaaba, around Lakshmana, and then we're going to circumambulate around Borobudur. All right, so there's 4 stone gateways. Sorry, that's what I was talking about. These 4 stone gateways are aligned with the 4 cardinal directions, just like the faces of Buddha at that last Angkor Wat, Angkor Thom temple we just looked at. So here's an example of one of the 4 gateways. Here's another of the 4 gateways. So you can see them here, you can see one there. And then there's going to be sculptures, relief sculptures that depict the life of Buddha. All right, so how does this function to facilitate Buddhist practices? So here we are inside of the gateway, right? We're in this sacred structure now, and then you have stairs that are going to take you up to the next level. So the circular stupa, an elevated walkway, recall the spokes of the wheel of the eightfold path toward enlightenment. So this is the Buddhist belief of how we can attain enlightenment and nirvana. By circumambulating, it brings the devout into harmony with the universe. So as you circumambulate, you're also seeing artworks, right? These relief sculptures of depicting different parts of Buddha during his life. The gateways, or the toranas, you could say either one, are shaped at right angles to help move people in the right direction. So if you were to walk in the gateway, it would kind of create this or shuttle you into going to this direct path, the correct path. All right, let's do some compare and contrast between the two. So the Great Stupa at Sanchi, for specific visual evidence, is hemispherically shaped. And then the Borobudur temple is a stepped pyramid. So the shape of it is different. They both have 3 circular walkways which radiate around a central axis. So the Great Stupa at Sanchi has the bottom, has a second, and then it has a square walkway on the top. And then Borobudur has 3 circular walkways. They're both important sites of pilgrimage to the Buddhist religion. All right, Borobudur temple structure is similar to stupas, with sculptures oriented to cardinal points to form a cosmic diagram of the universe. So again, they both form as mandalas. They're both formed as mandalas. All right, this is covered with narrative relief sculptures of the life of Buddha that reminds pilgrims as they circumambulate of the karmic cycles of life, death, and rebirth. Movement around the structure also mimics the path of the sun, and worshipers are meant to experience a journey from the realm of the senses to a new state of enlightenment in the pursuit of reaching nirvana. So this has to do with the different levels that you're circumambulating on. So on the bottom, it's more about the realm of senses. It's more about earthly desires and pleasures. And then as you move up, it's supposed to be taking you into this place of enlightenment and nirvana. So once you reach the top, you're moving out of this place of darkness, and it's more open, it's more light. The realm of formlessness is what the top is going to represent. And then once you get there, there's all these Buddha sculptures that are encased inside these stupas. The picture we're seeing on the left, this one is uncovered for some reason. Maybe something happened to that stupa. Not quite sure why. But the top level is an open circular terrace with Buddhas inside stupas. And the worshiper, the function, is the worshiper is gaining spiritual enlightenment from the journey of the sacred path. Again, much like that Egyptian temple of Amun-Re at Karnak, where it's taking you through a journey of the creation story. Boom, done.